Welcome everyone. Let's see if we're actually live and let's see if people are joining in. I can see the chat is getting busy. Good morning, good evening, wherever.
All the heavy lifting while I've been buried in product.
Yeah,
Um,
I think people spotted me probably in the video in Korea, and I saw there's some screen grabs of people asking who I was, and then I think somebody said I was an intern or something. So I just went with that. I'm okay
we
with
can go
that
back
title.
to you can take the title intern. Let's settle that. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, excited to have you guys on. I think this is long overdue. I think this is an exciting one as well because we are coming up to a very exciting update and exciting month overall for RISEx. And there's been a lot of things going on. Like you said, the heads have been buried. We've been deep in product, deep in go to market, and doing a lot of growth activities. So this is exciting for us to bring it to you, the community. A lot of the updates that have been happening and what's to come as well. We've got Sasha on these Rise sessions as well. Everyone knows Sasha. She's a celebrity at Rise. And she's here to talk about some really exciting stuff. So I'd love to just get into it and ask you a few questions, Sasha, around the points program. So first of all, just in terms of, I'm sure like it's a burning question for everyone. Will RiseX have retroactive points?
So, yes, to answer that question, we're currently in season 0, which is the first season for the earliest traders that have been trading with us since day one. And all the activity will be considered and calculated towards points as we head into season 1 with the official points program going live.
Yeah, that's probably the first time we've officially said that. Although it has been, a topic of discussion in the community on an X as well. But it's good to hear, and I think a lot of the community will be excited about that. And in terms of the points themselves, what sort of activity will be considered for the first season of points, and when does it actually start?
So, yeah, this is the question we've been getting a lot lately. We're excited to announce that points are coming this month, and that will kick off season 1. We're going to have a big announcement around that, so stay tuned. In terms of activity that will count towards points, we're going to be doing the standard metrics such as open interest, volume, fees, liquidations, and such. But we're also going to take into consideration trading behavior. So, for example, we're going to do some user segmentation. User segments that are important to us are active traders, like swing traders, directional risk traders, momentum traders, systemic traders like funding rate arbitragers, MMs, and whales who build large positions, as well as especially retail who build smaller positions but with high leverage and risk. And then another special one is slippage whales. Other perp dexes don't actually take slippage into consideration much with points, but slippage incurred is something that we want to take into consideration and we want to reward people for. So we're going to take that into the calculations as well. And that's about it for what our points program covers in terms of activity. But we're going to be basically calculating week on week. So it might change as weeks go on. And also, we're going to be rewarding new features as well whenever people use anything that comes out later on and rolls out. And we encourage people to test those features.
Yeah,
I'll
I
just add
think.
to the.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. I just
that's
wanted to
yours.
add to the slippage of those three categories. I think slippage is a really interesting one. CL has has a great post where he talks about the early days of Hyperliquid, where he used to just go on Hyperliquid, open very large positions and cop slippage because he knew that that would attract market makers and help like build the strength of the venue. So I think that is a particularly interesting target user, and it's kind of a hidden fee. Is slippage on a venue, and like as we build our liquidity, we're essentially reducing that fee. But in the interim, we really want to like thank the people that are putting market orders in the book that help us grow, help us attract more market makers, help us like build the venue's health over time. So yeah, I think that's a really interesting one.
Just for the ones who've just joined us, so the two big updates so far discussed is the retroactive points, which will be giving us points, and then the season 1 beginning this month. So those are the two exciting news coming. In addition to that, obviously, we've got a referral program in place, which we announced a couple of weeks ago, I believe, officially on RISEx. So I would like to kind of ask you, Sasha, just in terms of like the essence of the referrals and whether the referrals are considered as part of this activity, and what sort of weight does that carry with the exchange?
Okay. Yeah. So referrals are very important to any exchange. It's the strongest growth funnel, um, being word of mouth. So we do want to support people who are spreading the word about RiseX to the people they know so that they can all discover this product. So we will definitely take referrals and those stats into consideration when allocating points as well. And then the affiliate program is something that people who have strong communities and strong networks can apply for and contact us about via Discord.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we dive into other topics as well, I wanted to ask you, Sam, in terms of like an overall update on RiseX and where has the traction been? Because I know we've been putting out a lot of updates around volumes, around TVL metrics. It would be good to hear from you a summary of that.
Yeah, it's been an exciting almost 3 months since we launched. I'll give you a quick, I guess, a sit rep. So in the 3 months, we've hit just shy of $2.5 billion in volume. We've generated $640,000 in fees, 80K of liquidation fees, all of which have gone directly to the XLP vault. We've launched the XLP vault, which went public last week. It quickly hit a $6 million cap. We increased the cap earlier today to 8 million, and it filled up in another 2 hours. That's mostly a result of the XLP vault's its overperformance in a market where yield is quite flat or it's quite low at the moment. So we're a standout in the market. There's a lot of people that want to get in. As for like that's kind of just the numbers, but as for where we are in the maturity of the product, we've really just been focusing on getting the core features rock solid, making sure that our in-house market making is functioning as we intend it to. We've taken a slightly different approach with market making, that we want to build out the vast majority of the early liquidity, and then attract external market makers as the product grows and as retail users come on board and throw more orders into the book. So yeah, it's essentially our focus has been on getting those core features rock solid, getting the liquidity stable and solid, and getting good at the basics. We're getting very close to the point where we can start looking at the much more interesting stuff and taking some bigger leaps with features and distribution.
Yeah, let's talk about the bigger leaps and the features. We've obviously, like you said, been heads down in printed product. I think you provided an update to our community last week, but it would be good to hear from you. What's the next feature set? What sort of things are you looking forward to?
Yeah, so the kind of recent features that we've deployed. So TPSL, we launched with TPSL, but it had we wanted some reliability additions to it. So we've recently launched retries on TPSL just to make sure that every TPSL is filled. We've also added some quality of life features like the portfolio page, gave that an upgrade, while just making the venue more robust. And like I mentioned, we released XLP. So that's what we've released. We shipped recently. On our focus this quarter, there's kind of two parts to it. There's the ecosystem itself, and then there's RiseX features. So on the ecosystem, really you're going to get the ecosystem apps out. So this is Spine Icarus. We'll also get our portal and native bridge public, so anyone can bridge and access the rest of the chain. And we want to bootstrap the liquidity on Icarus as well as Spine, because they are vital to support portfolio margin, which is a really important feature for RiseX. So jumping to RiseX, the focus for this quarter is three-part. It's listings, liquidity, and product. So on the listings, we've got like a solid listing of crypto assets. We can list crypto assets very easily, but our attention is essentially shifted entirely to RWAs. So that includes commodity. Initially, it'll be commodities, US equities, and then in the future, we'll be looking at things like FX and other regional equities as well. On the liquidity front, we've been iteratively increasing it, and now that we've essentially doubled the TVL of XLP, we're going to be able to actually more than double. We should be able to 4x the liquidity, but we've got some pretty aggressive liquidity targets we're going to be working up towards, particularly in the next 2 weeks. So that's going to be a big focus. And then on the product front, where we're looking to this quarter, I think the three most important ones are spot. We need to list spot, build up liquidity on spot, and start building some books. Portfolio margin. This is really what makes Rise special, the fact that you can have unified collateral and liquidity. And then we really need to upgrade our mobile experience. It's been a big piece of feedback that there's room to improve there. So we want to upgrade our mobile experience quite a bit. But yeah, so there, I'd say of the product, that's where our focus is. In the details, we've got things like netted margin, builder codes, that will be live hopefully in the next week or two. Commodities listings is actually already in staging, so trying to get that out ASAP. And then we've got some like pro trading features like advanced order types, TWAP, scaled orders, that kind of thing coming up as well.
Sounds like a very busy roadmap, an exciting roadmap, hopefully. Exciting features for users.
Yeah. It's we've got a lot jam packed that the team can ship, so I'm comfortable we'll be able to deliver.
Yeah, you mentioned spot, you mentioned portfolio margin, auto yield. I think tell us more a little bit about that, because we know people probably have seen in the content that we put out, we talk a lot about atomic composability and why that's a very interesting architecture for users. So I think these are the features that will showcase that. So I'd love to hear more.
Yeah, so this is really what makes Rise and RISEx special. The typical trajectory of a perpetuals exchange, or essentially an on-chain order book, is that they'll build the order book and make it a custom execution environment, because that's essentially the quickest pathway to build the product. And then the chain component usually comes as kind of an afterthought, and then composability becomes quite ugly. So Rise and RISEx is really an experiment of what if we took a different route, rather than building a off-chain matching engine or a different execution environment and then trying to integrate with a universal chain. We built the whole thing on the same universal chain with shared execution and shared liquidity. And what that enables us to do is it means we can work with existing infrastructure and protocols. So Spine, for instance, is built on top of Morpho Lite. So we're able to benefit from years of Lindy from Morpho Lite to build our to build our lending market that will be the backbone of portfolio margin, for instance. And then for liquidations, we're going to be able to bootstrap liquidations on the lending market with Icarus, but also be using our spot market within the same environment. So it means that Icarus becomes like a liquidity backstop for liquidations while we're bootstrapping the spot markets as well. So it means that it just really opens up many, many doors, that we have got this essentially epitome, the best case scenario for composability and programmability. And I think portfolio margin is really going to highlight that.
Amazing. Thanks for that, Sam. And I think,
well, good. Actually,
yeah,
I might throw something back to you, Greg. Before we kick on, you've been working on marketing and you've been the brain behind some of our recent growth campaigns. So tell us what your team's been working on and what's on the cards coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the team has been super busy. Hopefully, the community sees that as well. We've had 2 exciting competitions that we ran since RISEx went live. The first one was the OG competition, which surprised us all, I think. It was a very exciting competition. The idea of having 25 seats or 25 OG seats, which essentially kind of become the early adopters of the exchange, was an idea that that was born kind of in a brainstorming session, and it worked out really well. I think it was an exciting showcase of what the power of like of the community and the users. Specifically, like a lot of people showed up with a lot of action on the exchange and secured those seats. Those early traders obviously, as we said, get perks that other people don't get. And we'll continue to unlock new perks as well that other traders might not get on the platform. There will be opportunities to grab more seats at some point, not for now, not to for the foreseeable future, but there will be some more opportunities because I know we had some feedback that obviously, some people missed out just, and yeah, some people brought it on the last day and kind of took seats from other people, but that's the spirit of the competition, and we love to see that from the community. And then the other campaign that's currently live, which is a huge opportunity for people to grab rewards before the points. But as Sasha mentioned, we're also giving out retroactive points for season zero. And this campaign is a testament to that. Like we are running a competition. There's only 6 days left in the competition. Part of the competition is multiple rewards, which is a prize pool, also mystery points prize pool, World Cup t-shirts, which are branded RISEx t-shirts, which are amazing. Super excited to be able to
I
show
think
those, and yeah.
honestly think people are more excited about the t-shirts than the $20,000
Yeah,
prize.
and
We got so
that's one
many
of the
messages about the t-shirts.
one of the things we've learned is people love physical gifts, so we're definitely getting taking that feedback, and we're going to be bringing that back a lot more. The RiseX World Cup t-shirts might make a reappearance after the campaign, and more people might be able to snatch them as well. So we're super excited to bring that and additional physical rewards. And I think moving forward, like we will be continuing to create more ways for community to earn rewards through spreading awareness for RiseX, through the referral program, and contributing overall to the product, but also in many other ways through the point system. So yeah, there's a lot of exciting things, especially with now points being introduced.
That's awesome, man. It's I was also blown away by the OG comp and really impressed by how much the community turned up. And the current comp that's running now is wild. I think we've done 67 million in volume past 24 hours.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting to see. To be honest, you guys have been doing a great job.
Yeah. Yeah, let's kick it to actually on the same topic of, I guess, marketing. And a lot of this has been a huge effort collectively from within the team. But Sasha has been doing effort on this as well. And I'd love to talk a little bit more about go-to-market. I'd like to talk about a lot more like regional strategies. I think that the community is obviously seeing that we've been kind of flying around and hosting events and dinners, and I think there's a lot of excitement in the air, like where we're going and what we're trying to do. So I'd love to throw it to you, Sasha, and talk a little bit more about that, and why Korea and why potentially other markets around the area too.
Okay, well, this is one of my favorite topics right now because we're very data driven in terms of our decisions. And when you look at the data, like Korea is a huge market for our entire industry, like crypto itself. So there's some different statistics thrown around, but one of the major ones is that Korea makes up 20% of entire global spot volume. So like Korea is just a very important market, not only for our industry, but for RiseX. And it's kind of funny because when I was in college, I actually had an option to study like either Chinese, Korean, or Japanese as foreign language. And I ended up doing a lot of work on go-to-market for RiseX in Korea and Japan, despite choosing to study Chinese. And so now I have to kind of catch up on the language stuff because we're doing a lot of in-person events. We've done Korea so far, plan to do Korea again towards Korea Blockchain Week. We have Japan coming up next week. Korea and Japan alone make up over 10% of our volume right now, which is big. We've also secured like strong regional partnerships in both regions as well as other regions in Asia. And other colleagues are focused on some other key regions throughout the globe. But so far, it's looking very promising. And in terms of that, like related to the like the earlier statement about the affiliate program, if you're in one of these markets or like a strong localized region that you think is very important for the growth of RISEx itself, we do appreciate that that connection and do want you to reach out so to let us know about your community and such so we can help support.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things is to be community driven, right? And would love for people to put their hand up and say that they can help us in any specific market and how that can help us grow. And we'll obviously always consider and chat with you. Team is very much accessible through Discord community channels, so do reach out if you think you've got what it takes to help us. And I'd love to. You got something else, Sasha?
Yeah, I mean, just to add, like we will be launching some regional trading competitions around Asia as well, especially around the points launch. So stay tuned for that if you're from one of those regions.
Absolutely. And I'd love to, I think there's a lot of questions that came through. I'd love to dive into some of these questions. First one, I think, Sam, this one's for you. When commodities?
People like gold, silver, and oil. It seems. It's actually interesting. The gold, silver, and oil volume is consistently in the top 10 volume on Binance and for all on-chain volume, including crypto. So it's in Perps land. It's like it's a top 10 token. They're all top 10 tokens. So 30% of the top 10 tokens is commodity representation. So yeah, we're really excited to get these live. Personally, I came through to crypto as a gold bug, so I want to move my gold investments to Perps, and I'd love to get spot gold onto Rise so I can do some basis trading with gold and even silver would be cool. But yeah, to get to the point, when commodities, so we're in staging at the moment. We're just testing out the oracles, making sure everything's solid. The structure is slightly different, given it's a futures product that doesn't have weekends. We have to be really careful about how we build the liquidity in the weekends and the kind of liquidity profile we want to offer our users during the weekends and the market off hours. But I'm confident we've got that down now. Just doing like final testing, and the goal is, I can't promise this for sure, but the current plan is to have these shipped and listed for users to trade by the end of next week.
Nice one. I see a little comments come through around the XLP vault. I'll flash up some on the screen so you can see them. A lot of people got caught out while they were sleeping. So I think the advice there is not to sleep, maybe. But just in terms of the XLP vault, can you tell us more about whether there will be additional deposits open for that? What sort of things are we expecting for it?
Yeah, I can give some background on XRP Vault for those that aren't familiar. So it's a market making vault. It's the capital that's deployed, the people are depositing into XLP Vault is being used as the primary liquidity source for RISEx. So when you open up RISEx and you see the book is full of orders, 95% of those orders is actually the XLP Vault at the moment. So as we increase the TVL and the XLP Vault, we're able to increase the liquidity on the venue. That increases the volume, increases the yield on XLP Vault, which attracts more LPs. So it's kind of this like, there's this flywheel that we're able to grow the liquidity on the venue and then also grow the TVL of XLP Vault and the yield. So XLP Vault is the reason there's been a lot of demand is it's performed extremely well. We've had it live since we launched and there's been 18% returns in total. And the median return for LPs has been between 60 and 70%. I checked it 3 days ago, so it's slightly changed a bit. But yeah, so there's been a lot of demand. We set the initial target to 6 million. It filled up very quick. A lot of people wanted to get in, so we increased the cap to 8 million earlier today. And I had some friends that wanted to get in, and I was like, oh, just take your time. I'm sure it won't fill up too quick. Because we didn't like push for it to fill up. We weren't urgent to get it filled, but it did get filled. It filled up within the hour. So yeah, next time we might announce it beforehand so people have a chance to get in or can prepare for it, or we might do it a different time of day or something like that. But moving forward, when we do look to increase the cap, right now I just want to sit on it for a bit. I want to see how the yield stabilizes with more liquidity and more capital in the vault. If we increase the TVL too fast, the yields will dilute. So I just want to like monitor it and see how things go before we increase the caps anymore.
Absolutely. No, the demand has been crazy. I think that we were when we posted it on our X, like we were sitting in our hands and watching how long it's going to take to fill up, so we can let people know that it has filled up, and it really surprised us. So it was, yeah, super exciting to see that demand for it is there. And I'm trying to pick a couple of other questions, but I think one question that came in, maybe there's a little bit of a misunderstanding on third-party audits, whether there's been any, and yeah, it would be good to clear that as well for the community.
Yeah, all of our code before it went live was audited. So we the RISEx contracts have been audited by Spearbit, and the Vault contracts have been audited by Y Audit, so the auditing firm behind Yearn. We do intend to get more audits as the protocol grows, so that will happen as well. But this, the fact that someone's asking means that our docs might not make this clear. So I'll take that as feedback that we need to improve our docs to make it clear that the audits are there.
I've got some other things in here that I'm just trying to read the chat as quick as possible. People have been chatting a lot. People are asking for more leverage. What's it gonna take for us to get more leverage?
It's funny. Me and Avi argue about this all the time. Avi wants to increase the leverage. I'm come from an engineering and risk background, so I'm like the more conservative one. But I think it's going to be possible for us to increase leverage. It's one of the most frequently asked requests, to be honest, particularly on the majors like Bitcoin and Ethereum, Hype, and Sol. So yeah, it's on the cards. Expect something to happen here soon.
Yeah, I have seen some other things around here around RWAs and commodities. People seem to be very excited for that. So if you join us late, that is in the works as soon as potentially end of next week. No promises, as Sam said.
That's right.
Another thing that has been talked about here is the roadmap. I think we've touched quite a lot on the roadmap just in terms of the product. So we will be dropping more of like a summary if you've missed anything, but also feel free to watch back just literally 5 minutes ago, and Sam talked a lot about the roadmap. But I think that pretty much covers most of the things that I see more and more coming through as I say that. I think people are trying to get their questions in. Oh, we've got a good one here for you.
Benefits of being Lachlan, how you doing, man? Benefits of being a fully on-chain perpetuals exchange. Great question. I think the one thing that being fully on-chain really helps with is disintermediation. So in the TradFi environment, you've got brokers, clearinghouses, the end exchanges, and there's various different parties. And because there's all these different parties and they each have to communicate and they each have to manage their own capital and risk, you have to bake in these fees at each level and also these big delays. So there's an expected time delay between settlement or like management of risk. And when you have a time delay, it means you have to add margin to risk as well. Whereas if you essentially flatten that stack all into one risk engine, you're able to able to operate atomically, essentially, so that you can liquidate in the single transaction. You don't have to wait for the different participants to communicate or to shuffle funds around. That's part of it. The other thing is that we have the benefit that we can have crypto, stocks, commodities, FX, both spot and perpetuals in a unified venue, all in the one place. So if you're a user, you want to invest, this means that you can come to one app. You can have essentially the best case for capital efficiency. So you can open a position, you can use that position to open another position, or you can use your spot gold to open a position on Bitcoin, for instance, and do some kind of pair trade. So it just opens a lot of flexibility because it's all in one venue, particularly with equities tokenization. That's going to get really interesting. So yeah, I think that's the key. When people ask me about being fully on chain, I always come back to flattening the stack, disintermediation, and then composability. what you're able to do with all this infrastructure that's already been built.
Absolutely. I'm going to take one more question because it's been coming in from one of the users over and over again around retroactive points. And basically, if someone made 5 million volume today versus 2 months before, do they get more points? That's something that
I'd hesitate to answer that directly. I will share the details when we announce the retroactive drop specifically.
Yeah, and I think there's generally there's a lot of questions around points. Just keep an eye on our channels. There's going to be a lot more coming out as we wind as we finish up the competition, the final call competition. So keep an eye out for that. There's going to be a lot of exciting things there. So and we're super excited for you guys to jump on and start earning the points.
Awesome, man.
And I think that pretty much covers everything. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sasha, for joining us today. I hope we'll be doing a lot more of these soon. And exciting month for RISEx, exciting month for the entire ecosystem. So yeah, thanks everyone.
Thanks a lot, Greg, for running it. And cheers to everyone that jumped into the chat and asked some questions. Appreciate you taking the time out.